Hello, thank you for joining us. My name is Dr. Debbie Wallace, and this is my husband, Dr. Tracey Wallace.
Welcome to True Health Doctors. Today we'll be dealing with the important subject of obesity. 36% of the U.S. population is now considered obese. Obesity rates have tripled among children in the last 30 to 40 years. Obesity is a serious health issue because it increases the risk of cancer, diabetes, heart disease, stroke. And so stay tuned as we discuss this topic in more detail. Welcome back. Today we're talking about the important subject of obesity. Debbie, you have some expertise in this area. You know, the typical patient that I see at least once a week is the working mom in her 40s who is trying to exercise, who is trying to watch her diet, but just not able to lose weight. What advice would you give her?
Well, first of all, I want you to know, and for everyone to know, that we know what works for weight loss. Research has been conclusive on this, that the only thing that has worked to keep weight off long term, lose weight and keep it off long term, is a lifestyle change. It is actually adopting a healthy diet as well as exercise combined with other things like sleeping right, drinking water, a complete lifestyle approach. That is the only thing that has worked long term. Diet pills don't work. As you know, many people come to you and they prescribe those pills, and what happens?
You know, as we've talked about many times, I've been doing this for 20 years, over 20 years. I have not had one successful long-term weight loss with a diet pill. Now, everybody loses a few pounds, but they stop the diet pill and the weight comes right back. So you're right, the diet pills are not producing long-term weight loss.
Yes, the people who change their complete lifestyle. That is what works. Now, it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do because we're used to the way we eat, and it's hard to change those things. It's hard to change habits. But that is the approach that works. So even if you start slowly, that's my advice, and gradually make changes. Actually, your body prefers that. Your body doesn't want to be shocked into something because it's not meant to do that because it will react. For instance, if you go on a starvation diet, trying to lose weight, your body will lose weight, but you will be thinking that you're not going to eat. You might be somewhere under a building and you can't get out. So it's going to try to preserve life. It doesn't think, gee, she's trying to lose weight. No, its aim is to keep you alive. So what it will do is you will actually lose the wrong weight. Even though you lose weight, you will actually lose muscle because muscle burns up calories. So they'll say, get rid of muscle here so we can keep you alive for as long as possible with no food.
So no crash diet is what you're saying.
No
crash diet.
No
you're talking about a
starvation.
lifestyle change.
Yes.
So we have to break it down for those folks at home.
Okay.
What exactly do you mean by lifestyle change? Let's maybe start first with exercise. What are you recommending? What do you suggest for exercise?
Well, for exercise, you really have to increase the amount of activity. Your body doesn't call it exercise. It doesn't understand. That's our term. What your body looks at is how fast your heart is beating. That's what it understands. So it doesn't matter if you're mowing the lawn, if you're doing dishes, if you're vacuuming. If you're doing that activity at a pace that is at your exercise heart rate, that's exercise to the body. And I say to people all the time, you're doing activities, but you're not doing them at an exercise rate. Well, what's the point? I mean, that doesn't make any sense because the number one excuse, what do people say why they don't exercise?
Well, they don't have the time.
Don't have time.
They simply don't have time because they're busy.
Yes.
So they're moving,
Yes.
but they're not exercising.
But you're not exercising.
And so you're telling us exercising and moving are two completely different
Yes,
things.
and your activity needs to be your exercise. make your activity at a pace that it is exercise to the body. When you're finished vacuuming the floor, you should be done with exercise for the day, because you can do that at a pace that your heart is beating at that rate that the body says, oh, they're exercising now.
So you're saying maybe run around or jump around while you're vacuuming or cleaning or something like that?
Just doing it at a pace that is harder. Doing
to
it
get your
faster,
heart rate up.
To get your heart rate up. And
heart rate
keep
up.
that sustained heart rate up. And we're just talking about it like 70%. Yeah, it's not, okay, so how do you know when you're in the exercise heart rate?
Okay, there you go.
How you know is if you're able to talk but not sing.
Okay.
If you're able to do your entire housework just singing along, you're not in your exercise heart rate zone yet.
Okay.
You need to not be able to be singing. But if you're going so hard that you can't talk at all, you're going too hard. You need to be able to still be able to talk but not sing. So remember, talk but not sing.
Okay.
You're in that activity zone. So you know that's where, okay, my body sees this as exercise, so it's no different than me going to the gym. I'm going to get the
How
exercise.
long and how many days a week should we be doing this?
So the bottom line is that just to keep your heart rate functioning at maximum, every single day your body really needs activity. But we recommend most days of the week. Now, that's the exercise recommendation. So I say to people, any day you come out of bed, you should exercise. If you didn't get out of bed, then it's okay. But your body needs to see exercise. So most days of the week for at least 30 minutes. But that's just to keep your heart functioning at optimum. But if you're trying to lose weight,
Yeah, what are you doing for exercise, though?
you need to do more.
What exactly? What are you doing? Are you walking? Are you skipping rope? Are you
doesn't
running?
matter.
Are you swimming?
Any activity that gets you in that heart rate zone for more than 30 minutes, the longer you go, the more fat calories you burn. And that's what you're trying to lose is really fat, right? You don't want to burn just carbohydrates, which is what happens if, for instance, an alarm goes off and you run out of the building, you burn no fat. You burn all carbohydrates. So what you're trying to do is to make sure that you get that longer duration. It's better to go longer if you're trying to lose fat.
Yes.
So if you can go for an hour or more at a lower intensity, that's actually better than sprinting or doing something for 5-10 minutes. And people say, oh, I got my activity done in 5-10 minutes, and that's fine, but that's not weight loss. You're not going to lose fat in that, and that's the goal for most people, is to lose fat.
Well, I really like what you're saying here. You're saying that you try to exercise, incorporate in your activity so you're able to exercise every day.
Yes.
Well, we're just beginning to scratch the surface here. We'll be back right after these messages. Welcome back. We've been talking about exercise and the importance of getting exercise. And, you've been talking that you should try to incorporate exercise into your daily routine as opposed to going someplace. If it was for me alone, if I had to go to a gym, exercise just wouldn't be happening. But if I can incorporate it into my regular activity, which I do, I can get my 10,000 steps in. But now we want to switch to diet. What advice do you have to give somebody about diet?
Okay, so diet is really not the way I like to think about it, as what are we eating? What should we eat? Because, typically when you say diet, you're talking about weight loss diet, going on some thing that's going to help me for a few weeks. When I lose the weight, I get back to eating bad again. Well, that makes no sense at all, because you're going to just get back the pounds that you lost. And again, that's not the aim. We want to change our lifestyle, because then the body is able to maintain that weight loss. So let's talk about what is it people are supposed to eat, because there's a lot of confusion. And folks, you need to realize this weight loss industry is a $30 billion industry. A lot of people are making money off this, and that's why we don't believe in endorsing products and so on, because it's not what is working. What works for people is changing their lifestyle, and eating right is a key. I mean, you can't just exercise alone. You have to also eat right. When you do both, you get it's like a double compounded effect, and that's what we want. So what are we to eat? I have an acronym for this to help you. Okay, we call it FULL.
That makes sense. You're full.
You want to be
Okay,
full.
you want to be full,
right?
yes.
You should eat to be full, but most of the foods that we're eating can't make you full because they have no fiber in them. And
Mm.
fiber is what gives you that fullness feeling. But they've taken out that, because think about it. If I want you to, I'm making food for you to eat and I want you to keep eating, am I going to make that food fill you up fast, or I want it to be empty calories that you'll keep eating and eating and eating to try to feel full?
You know, one of the interesting things is we've seen 200 calories. You could eat a little piece of cheese and get 200 calories. But on the other hand, you could eat a whole big thing of broccoli or one of these things and you still get 200 calories. And so obviously the broccoli or one of these green leafy vegetables is a lot more filling than a little piece of cheese.
Exactly, exactly. And in fact, fat content is also a problem, because the more fat you have, the less your stomach actually doesn't feel as full. And so again, with cheese and other products like that, you're going to eat it and you still not feel full, even though it's the same calories. And that's why we call it calorie dense. We don't want that. So what are we to eat? Again, so the acronym FULL, okay? The F in FULL starts for fiber-rich foods.
Makes sense.
Okay, so we're to eat
sense.
things that have fiber. So what has fiber? It's not animal products, but plant products.
Green leafy vegetables.
Green leafy vegetables, as well as fruits and vegetables. That's what we get fiber from. And again, it's not only that this is good for your diet, it also prevents cancer. Fiber is a great way your body takes away the electrolytes that are what we call, when you break down fat, break down foods that you eat, even regular food, you have byproducts. Well, the fiber actually takes it out of your body. So it's a fantastic thing for your body. And it helps you to pass, go to the bathroom more often, and that's actually good because you're taking the toxins out too.
It keeps you regular.
It keeps you regular.
Okay.
Yes, very important. Next is U for unprocessed foods. Where to eat unprocessed food. The more processed food you have, the more you're going to have the things in your diet that you don't need. The more fat, the more salt, the more sugar that you don't need. So we want unprocessed foods as natural as possible, because that is actually best for you. The L, the first L, is for low in sugars, because sugar is a big problem for us. And salt, low in sugar and salt, because both of these are not as good for you. So if you have too much sugar in your diet, you're going to have your body going into a situation of making more fat because you've given it a lot of sugar. It's just bad for you, and that's why we need to stay away from sugar, too much sugar. And we're talking about simple sugars here now, not complex carbohydrates, but simple sugars. The table sugar and things in your diet like that, high fructose corn syrup, which is in everything. We need to limit that. And the last L is for low in fat and cholesterol, because again, fat and cholesterol fat especially is a lot of calories. That for every gram of fat you have twice as much calories as a gram of carbohydrate or protein. Instead of 4 calories, it's 9 calories. So you can have a small amount of, like 1 tablespoon of oil is 14 grams of fat, is 130 calories. If you were to eat 130 calories of, say, instead of corn oil, 1 tablespoon, if you ate a whole corn, you would have gotten just 1 gram of fat in a whole ear of corn. So full, remember full. You want to eat for fullness. So be full, eat fiber-rich, unprocessed foods that are low in fat and cholesterol, low in sugars, and low in salt. That's the key. Once you do that, you are going to have a bit. And you don't have to count your calories then. Because if you're eating those things, it's not going to be high in calories. That's the key. You need to eat foods that are filling you up so you don't eat as much. Because if I'm eating a plate of food, if eating a whole 600 calories, I should be full. The problem is we eat that of processed foods and you're still not feeling full.
Well, I do. I really like the acronym FULL, because you can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, I'm on a diet and I'm hungry all the time. And that is just, I mean, to be miserable, to be hungry all the time. So I like the idea of eating healthy and being full, and eating the diet that corresponds to this acronym FULL.
Yes, and it makes you feel good. You feel good because you're full. You're not operating off no energy, because your body needs that. I mean, your brain needs sugar in order to function, but it is the complex carbohydrates we talk about, not simple sugars again. Again, very important that you follow that FULL acronym.
Well, obviously, we can see this is your area. You have a lot to say on this, and it looks like you have a lot more to say, but we're running out of time here.
Okay.
So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We've been talking about obesity, and we've been specifically talking about diet and about exercise. And there's a lot more that can be said, but just to summarize what you're saying, you talked about the acronym FULL, where F is for fiber, U is for unprocessed food, L is for low in fat, and the other is for low in sugar.
Yes.
And so we're trying to stay away from foods that kind of melt in your mouth and just
Yes.
kind of, you can just kind of swallow, almost inhale. That's a term they use. They use the term inhale. So you're trying to stay away from foods like that.
Yes, you want to actually chew your food because that is actually, the more chewy, the more you're going to feel full. Because again, too, it's the duration that you eat for also makes a difference because it takes a little while for your body to say, gee, I'm full. That's why you may actually pull away from the table sometimes and wait for dessert because you may think you've got that space and you wait a few minutes and you realize, you know what, I can't eat that dessert.
There's some interesting research about that. You go back 40, 50 years ago, we were chewing our food like 25, 30 times. Now the food these days, 10 chews and we can swallow it. And so obviously that is contributing to the obesity problem right there.
Yeah, and we need to do more. It's simple things. Again, the approach is to food. It's really simple. It's really not hard, and you're going to feel good because your body rewards you when you do these things. When you exercise, you actually have endorphins that are released that makes you feel good. I mean, that's a feel-good drug that doesn't have bad side effects, okay? So these are good things that you need to incorporate. Not just again, eating right, but also exercising, getting enough water, because remember, if you're eating fiber, you've got to drink water. You can't have fiber without water, so we need to get our glasses of water, and it's half your weight in ounces. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you're supposed to be getting about 75 ounces of water. Very important. And then something that you will not succeed at weight loss if you're not getting proper, adequate rest. Sleep is very important in this thing. So, you have to, again, not be stressed out too. These are important things. It's a whole lifestyle approach. We need to be healthier. And all of these things, folks, help you not just to lose weight, not just to feel great, but it also prevents other diseases. You're less likely to have cancer. You're less likely to have a stroke or a heart attack if you're not obese or overweight. And, overweight is also a big problem. It's the progression to obesity. So we want to start watching that.
So if we do all these things, are we going to be all trim and skinny without doing all these things?
Not necessarily, but I'm telling you, I've seen people who are looking as though they're thin and that they're healthy, and actually they had more fat on their body when you check their percent body fat. And they said, well, doc, I haven't been exercising because I'm trying to actually gain weight. And we said, okay, well, congratulations, you've gained a lot of fat. Is that was your goal? They went, oh, no. Like, okay, if you're trying to gain muscle, it's exercise, not eating the wrong things and not exercising. So again, we want to just think about being and feeling good. Maintaining a proper weight, it will come naturally. You do not have to watch the scale so much. In fact, sometimes the scale can actually work against you because your hormones and so on can affect that. But if you're doing the right things, over time, you will see the result on the scale. But it's about consistency.
Yes.
You can't just expect to do this for a little while and then stop. No, this is a change, a different approach. I'm going to change. A lifestyle change is the best way to lose weight and keep it off. And we have a program that we have done on our television station called the Designer Lifestyle Program. The Designer Lifestyle Program helps people to actually implement step-by-step small changes to reach their goal, their weight loss goals, and to remain healthy. So you can tune in for us for our program. We also have a book that is available to you that teaches you about how to lose weight the right way using a lifestyle approach. It even incorporates some recipes at the end of the book, and it's a very small book. It's not too intimidating to read and to enjoy, but it has all the principles that you need to live a healthy lifestyle.
Well, we've had a great discussion today. I hope you've been informed, inspired, and empowered to live a healthier life. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon on another episode of
True Health Doctors.